next topic is going to be about Bo Nix. And if we're ready to plant the flag that, man, this guy, Bo Nix, number 10 on the Denver Broncos, is a franchise.
I don't have to speak.
Quarterback.
I'll take the reins here, actually, of maneuvering this conversation. Gentlemen, I've sat here for weeks and weeks and weeks. I've tried to tell you, hey, this kid's getting better. He looks really good. You know, this nervousness in the pocket starting to get a little bit cleaned up, starting to deliver the balls deep down the field, playing some winning football. I'm keeping track. You guys haven't been sold. I heard a lot about EPA. Now I ask you guys the question, because EPA went from an individual to a team stat overnight.
I did see that.
That killed me.
I did see that.
That killed me.
It's never been an individual stat, though.
Whatever. Don't talk to me. Don't. I'll ask you guys the question. I'll start with you, Joel. Is Bo Nix the Broncos franchise quarterback, yes or no?
How are we defining a franchise quarterback?
It's always something.
So it's a no.
How are we defining franchise
But no, the fact that
quarterback?
he started his answer like that, I mean, you think Bo Nix is good. You're not sold on him being the true franchise
Who
guy.
says that he has to be Caleb Williams? I'm not saying that. Am I saying that he needs to be the generational player? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is Jared Goff right now to Lions fans is their franchise quarterback. And I said, if it's ceiling, I know I posed you the question. Sorry. I get passionate when it comes to Bo Nix.
As you should.
I said very easily, I said I think his ceiling, if he can beat Jared Goff, I'm happy. If he can beat Alex Smith, I'm happy. Those are two teams as franchise quarterbacks. Yes, they moved on from Alex Smith to the greatest ever. Yes, they moved on from Jared Goff to Matthew Stafford, a future Hall of Famer. But they've gone on to be successful regardless.
Yeah. I think
that's all I'm asking.
If that's how we're defining it, which is, I like the Jared Goff comp because I think it's perfect.
Okay.
Jared Goff is the franchise quarterback for the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
That's a different level as, fucking Mahomes.
So basically the question is, did the Broncos find the quarterback? And you believe they did.
I think, so when I think of franchise quarterbacks, I'm mostly thinking, will this guy get a second contract with the team? Is he going to go in 4 years from now, whenever it is, and he's going to sign probably $200 million contract, right, in 2030 or whatever it's going to be? My answer right now is probably yes. Because I look at the situation right now, I agree. There's a few things going well for him, right? You got the best offensive line in football, arguably, at least pass protection-wise, has been fantastic. Sean Payton is one of the best play callers, one of the best head coaches, I think, in the NFL after kind of a bit of a rocky start, especially with Russell Wilson. This defense is playing really well. But you also have to look at the negatives there, right? He has really one weapon that you can rely on in Courtland Sutton. And Courtland Sutton, let's not pretend that coming into the year, he was this locked and loaded top 10 receiver, top 15, even top 20 receiver that we thought can be a difference maker on offense. That's really all he's got. I think Vele has made some nice plays well, who's kind of breaking out into maybe he could be something. Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin have their, kind of scheme plays. Of course, Marvin had that 90-yard touchdown, but mostly scheme plays, either sometimes out of the backfield in the screen game that they get involved to, which I love to see. The run game's been pretty inconsistent all season long. So while Bo has had things go his way that for the rest of his career, he's not going to have the best offensive line in football. There's going to be years the Broncos defense is up and down, but he's still going to have Sean Payton for the foreseeable future. So what I've seen from Bo Nix so far is to start off his career, it was bad, right? I think Sean Payton threw a lot on his plate and said, listen, you're a guy that was in college for 5+ years. You are an older prospect. You're going to start day one, and I'm going to treat you like more or less a second-year player in the NFL. I'm not going to baby you, and you're just this rookie quarterback, and everything is very, you're going to call this, play two, you're going to call in the huddle. I'm going to treat you like you've done this before, because he has a ton of experience in college. And to start off, it was rocky. I think we saw that, right? The first 4 or 5 weeks, I always reference the Saints game, which was week 5 or week 6. But as time went on, he's gotten better. I feel like the connection with Courtland Sutton has only gotten better, and this offense has gotten better. I understand they got 14 points from their defense, but they were able to move the ball pretty consistently against Cleveland, been able to move the ball pretty consistently against most teams so far this season, especially kind of the second half of the year since Bo Nix has really turned it around. When you think of franchise quarterbacks, obviously, a lot of people, you go to the Mahomes, you go to the greats, but there's so many franchise quarterbacks. Jared Goff, like we mentioned, Dak Prescott's a franchise quarterback. So just because you're not a top 10 quarterback, which I don't think Bo Nix probably will ever be, I don't know if he's ever going to reach those heights to be as good as, maybe we think Jordan Love can be one day, for example, top 8 quarterback, maybe CJ Stroud after last season, top 8, top 9 quarterback. Will he ever reach those heights? Maybe he has a year where statistically he puts up like 4,500 yards in Sean Payton's offense and they get a couple receivers. It is possible. But even if he's the 13th or 14th best quarterback, that is a fuck ton of a lot better than what the Broncos have had for the last damn near 10 years now, right? 8 years when you talk about even 2016, the last year of Payton, when he was not the same Payton man that we know. So the way he's looking right now, the way he's been able to progress throughout the year, and the limitations this offense still has, he's been playing better than I've expected. So I would say, yes, the Broncos found their franchise quarterback.
I think it's too early to tell, but I believe that whenever you're measuring a quarterback and how they're playing, you evaluate them by tests, by what you had concerns about and seeing if they could overcome those concerns. There have been quarterbacks in the past that play really well. Then when those tests come around, they don't play the best. And with Bo Nix, there were a couple things out of college that were criticisms of him. It's throwing the ball down the field, being too much of a check down quarterback. That was more so the Oregon offensive system. I don't think that was anything with Bo Nix and not being able to do something. He's been able to push the ball down the field with the Broncos. I look at the Panthers game. I think that was his best game, but didn't have the highest degree of difficulty because of the defense. The Falcons game, I thought it was a good performance. I thought he really attacked the middle of the field, something that he wasn't showing before. And I think this Browns game showed his pressure response, because up until this game, Bo Nix was one of the worst quarterbacks when pressure in the NFL, according to PFF and what his grade was. Against the Browns, Jim Schwartz showed a heavy dose of blitzing, and Bo Nix was airing the ball down the field. He had a high ADOT. He was trying to make a defense pay. There were moments where maybe you wanted him to maybe check it down underneath because that was the more positive play, but neither here or there. He showed that he was willing to just stop thinking so much and let it rip, and I think that was a positive sign. And the touchdown to Marvin Mims was the best throw he's had all year.
Best throw of the season.
Yeah, it's one of the best throws of the year that a quarterback has made, and he's also checking the box of he has some real juice in his arm. I think that it's not a below average arm like Tua. Like if you tell me if Tua or Bo Nix, like I think Bo Nix has a much stronger arm than Tua, and I think
so funny.
The ball rips out of his hands.
He's got
I can see it. Yes. When looking at that throw, just seeing what the Browns did, I thought the pre-snap recognition was just as impressive as the execution of the throw itself. It was a cover 2 invert. I don't like that coverage because you're asking a linebacker to keep up with a speedy receiver going up the seam. So that's one thing. I don't like that coverage at all for the Browns to call it, but Jim Schwartz was trying to confuse him, show him cover 3 pre-snap, cover 2 invert post-snap. You drop down that safety, and the linebacker now takes the role of being that deep safety. And
run with Marvin Mims.
Yeah, once Bo Nix realized that, he saw, I got Marvin Mims on a linebacker. I'm going to let it rip. Denzel Ward was very close to making one of the best plays of the year, but the velocity that he had on that ball allowed it to be what it was, which was a 90-yard touchdown. And now Bo Nix is just stacking things that we're seeing and we're evaluating. Okay, he's mobile. He can play make. He's attacking down the field. He can be accurate in those short to intermediate areas. I think Bo Nix has been really good this year. And the Broncos, I also want to give them credit for the situation, because I know that we get enamored with rookie quarterbacks too much. And this is the same thing that I said with Jaden. When Jaden was playing well, I mentioned Cliff Kingsbury. I mentioned the offensive line playing well, because so much times we give all the credit to just the quarterback under center. Not that Bo Nix doesn't deserve that, but this is one of the very best offensive lines in the NFL. This is an offensive line that held Myles Garrett in check. We are talking about one of the best defenses in football. And Courtland Sutton, yeah, he was not viewed as a high-tier receiver coming into the season, but when he's been tasked to beat one-on-one man coverage, I mean, he was toasting Trent McDuffie the entire game versus KC. He has played at that level, and then you have other players stepping up, like Vele, who I think is a good power slot. He's not good against man coverage, but against zones, he knows and recognizes it, and he's a 7th-round pick, I believe, and
Older
it's
rookie.
another Sean Payton development story. There are moments where I think that we overthink things. My initial hunch on Bo Nix was I really, listen, Sean Payton, Bo Nix, if Sean Payton handpicked him, then there's a reason probably why he's going to be successful. There's situations where you overthink some things. Just like Jordan Love going to the Packers, sitting behind a Hall of Fame quarterback, getting to learn. You know, maybe that guy turns out to be good because he had all that time to prepare for his moment. And it's Bo Nix, who years of college experience, going to the NFL under a coach that is not going to just throw him to the fire, because in the beginning versus the Steelers and Seahawks, that's what he was doing. He was trying to see, okay, what is Bo comfortable and not comfortable with doing currently? Once those two games happened, he started just calling things to ease Bo into it, and now we're seeing the steady growth week by week, and there are more things being put on his plate. So I think there are just moments where we overthink things, and the Broncos rebuild has happened so fast from eating the $85 million in dead cap. They were an 8-win team last year, barely missed the playoffs, and this year just getting that boost from their defense being healthy and Zach Allen turning into an all-pro player and their offensive line really just taking a major leap. And I think getting better quarterback play this year than they got last year, it's now led the Broncos to be a playoff team. And there should be enthusiasm, because usually we get quick rebuilds like the Giants and they don't have somebody in place, and now you're stuck with Daniel Jones for $40 million. Now the Broncos are going to have cap space. They're going to be able to maybe bring in a running back that can boost that run game. They're going to be able to bring in a receiver. They're going to be able to add things to this team. They're going to have draft picks. So this is a team that could be, in a short amount of time, a dangerous football team.
I get overwhelmed when I think about it. It really has been a long road since my championship, because it's not even like they flirted with going to the playoffs. We've just been bad.